Okay. After 38 years, I have recently reunited with my daughter. My adult-raised children, all in their 20s, are not interested in integrating into this family experiences with me or my grandparents. Any advice? Same thing is occurring with my siblings. I am the oldest of 4.
So, her adoptive family is not?
Do you want me to explain it?
She knows the person that wrote
the question. Okay. Reunion happened, and everything looked good for a day or two with Ray. Okay, the reunion between me and the child I relinquished is good. That relationship is center, and that's good. Now what I'm dealing with is 3 children that don't want anything to do with her. She wants desperately to know them. They're like, this is our family, and you don't have any right to come into it. That's probably the easiest way for me to say it. They're protective of their family unit.
So you had 3 more children?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then the same thing that's happening is that the daughter that was relinquished lives in the same town with my mother. So they're establishing a relationship. Now what's happening is Ray's children who don't live in that town are quite jealous of this new person coming in. And it's not just my children. I'm seeing the same things with my siblings, having very bizarre reactions to this person coming into the dynamics of that family. Okay, there. Go for it. What do I
Why do we deny more love? I don't understand. Why? She wants to be a part, but I could see it's a potential threat to your other children. You know, the first movie that Jean made, Jean Strauss, Adopted for the Life of Me, when I saw that movie, I said, everyone in this country, or anyone who's connected by adoption, needs to see what we go through, adoptees, and how strongly we need the connection. We need to know our biological roots. It helps educate them, but I don't know if your children would be willing to sit down and watch that movie.
But I think if I could I'm the father of the 3 other children. Well, I know him. Anyway, but I think the adopted daughter, the daughter that was relinquished, didn't have a good life, and so now this happy family comes along that she can now become a part, and she's breathless to jump into that family, and the family that's there, that's that core, that's happy, is saying, well, no, wait a second. I think it's a time issue. Just because you're coming in and you're desperate doesn't mean we have to be desperate. And hold on. But it's been a year. It's only been a year.
Yeah, honeymoon still on her face. But you know, the thing that I find is in families like this, that child has lived on in your heart. Mm-hmm. Right? She's lived in your family. Even though your children were not aware of her, she was living in your home, mm-hmm. with your children as a part of you. Right?
Absolutely.
So when I found my birth mom, I had 3 siblings that did not know about me. She told them about me at that time. And I was telling somebody this at lunchtime today. For the first time ever, my sister was able to make sense of her life. My sister and I were born the same month. We looked very much alike. And when my birth mom saw her, she had 1 child, a boy, which she did fine with, and then she had a girl in the same month. And right from the moment that child was born, she could not take care of that baby. She could not give all of her love to that baby. And it was really her father who did most of the caretaking. But my sister had no idea why she and her mom always felt like this until I came along. And then it all made sense. Thankfully, my sister didn't feel threatened. She'd always longed for a big sister, so it just worked out really well. But I think that because she's been your baby, your lost baby that you've grieved on your own, that it might feel threatening to the rest of the children. You know, even though they don't know that she's always been there, affecting everything.
Yeah, I think that. In fact, I've had siblings of adoptees say, "When are you going to do a workshop for us?" You know, we like, or the siblings of the adopted person in the adoptive relationship, because siblings are often forgotten in this whole thing. You know, I mean, there's this big reunion between the mother and her first baby, or usually the first one, and then also upsets the balance in the family. It's not, okay, I'm not the first anymore, you know, I'm not child number one, and now I'm child number two, and we have to all go down one step, you know. And that, you know, birth order means something to kids for some reason. I mean, you know, I'm the oldest.
So the rest of us say, just suck it up.
Every time they go, what, another kid? You know, there were 4 of us all together, and we really were very close. I think I was a little bossy, though. But anyway, I think, you know, it does disrupt the dynamics of the family. And maybe if you all sat down and talked about this, you know, and said, you know, it's gonna change the family a little bit, but, you know, let's welcome this other person in. This is a relative of yours, you know, that you're related to this person. And of course, the relationship means a lot more to the adopted person because they haven't been in a relationship with relatives. You know, it's been with somebody else, with biological strangers with whom they may not have had very much in common at all. And, you know, sometimes when I see these families, I wonder how they ever manage to thrive. Not because the parents are bad or there's anything wrong with the kid or the parents. They're just so different. So different. And, I mean, just tone of voice and manner of communication and the way you walk and stand and talk. I mean, all of these things. Not just how you look. I mean, that's minor compared to some of the other things. And so the adopted person is just overwhelmed and wants to jump right in many cases. In other cases, they have to step back a little bit, you know, and they're the ones that kind of, and you know, there is this thing about control. And adoptees haven't been in control of very much. They weren't in control of what happened to them in the beginning, and so they kind of do want to have some control over this reunion, you know, and that can kind of come across sometimes to the siblings as being a little bit overwhelming or pushy or whatever you want to call it. But I think everybody just needs to sit down and talk about it. I think the siblings need to know how it might have been for their sister not to have anybody that was like them all the time they were growing up. You know, sometimes I tell people when they don't understand, you know, well, they had nice parents. What do they want to find their biological families? I said, well, why don't you think about, what if you had been reared by the people 3 doors down? How would that have been for you? You know, I mean, they may be very nice people, but maybe they're not very much like you at all. How would that be to have been in that family where, you know, you didn't see yourself anywhere? And then you kind of have more of an idea of what it's like for the adopted person when they do see the people that they are related to. So, and I don't know what to do about your siblings. You know, that, you know, as Jeanette says, you know, you never have too many people loving you. So maybe that's the way to put it.
Well, I opened a family secret. And I think that's what I keep going back to, is that by doing this was although I was pregnant in the house, this was a family secret that now all of a sudden I opened a door, and boy, I thought it was my issue, and I now realize that this was much bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And boy, I had no idea that I was fighting a battle today that I thought was over 40 years ago. Right. It's like, I thought this ended, and I thought this was what I was supposed to do, and now all of a sudden, you guys are up in arms because I found this baby? I mean, I guess I'm hurt. I am hurt all over again.
Yes. Yeah.
What else can you say?
Call it what it is. Right?
Yeah, and maybe you could say that, you know, this hurts me.
Yeah, I'm good at that. knows this story. I've been doing that.
All
It's
right.
like in your own family, you feel alone.
I have been.
Yeah.
I was literally told by my mother for 6 months not to do this. And it's like, wow, here's my mom a year ago doing what she did 40 years ago. It's like, wow, I didn't have any anger feelings about what happened long ago. I am angry about what she did 6 months ago. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just, boy, it's. I don't know how many other people have had mothers alive when they've done these searches as birth moms. I don't know how many birth moms have done searches, but to do a search with your birth mother, with your biological mother still living, and that's been an interesting dynamic with the adoptee, because here's the adoptee meeting the grandparents, knowing those grandparents had a big part in this, that she's very protective of me. I don't know, in that relationship. Okay, I'll shut up. I'm just
It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
complicated family dynamics, right? I mean,
Yes.
about 50 people in with the m.f.t. You know, is that weird?
Yeah.
I think sitting down and talking,
Yep.
and I don't know where you're located, but, you know, meeting with an adoption professional who can really look somebody in the eye and go, you know what? She needs this and you need this. It's repair in your whole family. And we can talk about setting a plan and having limits, but it's what your mother needs to heal, to grow. Would you be willing to give this opportunity for her so we can all meet, you know, and we'll set a structure and a plan, but I think there needs to be another party involved that can educate your other children and really influence them and help them understand the adoptee's perspective and your perspective. You know, I mean, sometimes things are over, we can't do it all by ourselves.
Right.
And oftentimes they're much more willing to listen to somebody else besides relatives when it comes to things like this.
Yeah.
You know, so that can be a plus as well. Okay.